Well, it's Monday again, everyone, but that's okay because it's another day to be blessed. So welcome to Coffee with Wes for Monday, September the 29th, 2025. My name is Wes. This is the coffee. Oh, that's good on a Monday morning. I tell you, you just can't beat it. In a big mug like this, nice and hot, piping hot. In fact, I had to make 2 pots today. Before we even got started. We have some family over, and we were at a family reunion on Saturday. It was Debbie's sister and her son, and Debbie and her sister sang at church Sunday, and so it was just a great day, wonderful day, worshiping the Lord yesterday. But anyway, I serve as the pastor of the First Baptist Church of Cutler, so I'm glad you're here this morning on this Monday morning. I hope you're getting ready to go to have a great week. So, and also it's September the 29th, so we're quickly concluding this month of September, aren't we? And we're about to begin the last quarter of 2025. Remember it seems like just a few days ago, we were welcoming and celebrating a brand new year. But you know the old saying, time sure flies when you're having fun. So let me ask you the question, and you can answer it in the comment section if you want to. Are you having fun yet? I mean, we're at the end of September. The 3/4 of the year is over. Are you having fun yet? Let me know. Okay, so this week's conversation that we're going to have is going to remind us that love for God and love for others is the clearest expression of our obedience to the Lord. And our text this week is going to be for the whole week is Mark chapter 12, the Gospel of Mark chapter 12, and we'll be looking at verses 28 through 34 this whole week. And the big idea for today is that obedience to God begins with love for Him and love for others. So, how do we know if we're being obedient to God? Well, do we love the Lord? Do we love others? That's a clear telltale sign. So I want to read a scripture with you today. It's several verses. It's from Mark chapter 12. Verses 28 through 31, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation. Okay, so one of the teachers of the religious law, in some of the other translations, he's referred to as a scribe, and the scribes are the ones who write down the law, they analyze the law, they try to condense the law, they just know all about the law, they just know everything about it. So one of the teachers of religious law was standing there listening to the debate. So Jesus was debating with the Pharisees, and they were talking about all kinds of things. So he realized that Jesus had answered well. In other words, Jesus was able to put the Pharisees in their place. And so this scribe, this teacher of the law, so he asked him, here's the question, of all the commandments, which is the most important? That's the question. And Jesus replied, well, the most important commandment is this. Listen, O Israel, the Lord our God is the one and only Lord, and you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. And Jesus is quoting the Shema from Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. And then in verse 31, the second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. And Jesus is referring to Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. No other commandment is greater than these. So this scribe, this teacher of the Old Testament law, asked Jesus a very sincere question, or that's what it appears to be, a very sincere question. Although, if we were to read this in Matthew's account, Matthew describes the question as a means to test Jesus. But as we go through this conversation this week, we're going to see that I think he was really intent on learning something that Jesus had to say. So he asked the question of out of all the laws in the Old Testament, which one mattered the most? And the Jewish law contained hundreds and hundreds of commands. And Jesus summarized that whole plethora of commands with just 2. He says, love God and love others. And his response not only gave clarity, but also revealed the true heart of obedience to God. You see, we often measure obedience to anyone, to God, by what we do or don't do. Are you obedient to the Lord? Yeah, I read my Bible. Are you obedient? Yeah, I pray. Yeah, I do good deeds, But Jesus shows that true obedience flows from our love for God. If we love God with all we are, and that's what he's saying, your heart, soul, mind, and strength, your whole being. Now, we try to separate those in our culture, but in the Jewish culture, that was the whole enchilada, as they say. If we love God with the whole enchilada, with all that we are, obedience follows naturally. And if we love others as much as we love ourselves, our actions will reflect the heart of God in our daily lives. So here's the challenge for us this week. Let's start each day with a prayer, something like, Lord, help me to love you completely today and to show that love in how I am treating others. That's a good challenge. Good challenge. Now, before we go, we're going to wrap it all up right here. But before we go, I want you to remember this. The greatest commandment in the scripture. Let's take another sip. Can't beat that good coffee. The greatest commandment in scripture, the greatest commandment of God, it's not complicated. It is love. That's it. But it requires our whole heart, soul, mind, and strength. All right, folks, I hope you have a great Monday. I hope things are going well, are starting off well for you. I hope they're going to get better as we get going. And we're here every day, Monday through Friday, about this time. And that time changes, but we're here. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.